Here in Ghana, we've got the climate and we got the good soil, so there's a lot of opportunities. You have to take responsibility. And the other misconception, and we talked about that, if you come here, you have to adapt and you don't have to calculate everything in prices of your home country.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Diaspora Desk Podcast. We have another episode and as always we're here to inform, guide and inspire you when it comes to doing business in Ghana. So we have another exciting episode for you. Today I am here with Hugo Visser. He's the country director for Koudijs de Heus, or I think in Ghana it's Koudijs. So Hugo, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
So I think we'll just dive in. Some people might know the company, some don't. So could you briefly introduce yourself and the company?
Sure. Thank you, Jemima. My name is Hugo, a responsible person for the Heus or Koudijs de Heus Ghana. It immediately tells a bit about our company, Koudijs de Heus. What is it? Our company originates from the Netherlands, family-owned company, more than 100 years old already. And fourth-generation owners. And we're in animal feed. We are active in animal feed. That means chicken feed, tilapia feed, swine feed, everything around animal feed, mainly commercial animals. And actually some years back we decided to invest in Ghana.
And we're interested in that. So it's been in existence in the Netherlands for over 100 years. How long have you been in Ghana?
In Ghana, actually 2005, we started with export activities from the Netherlands to Ghana.
Okay.
But that was not with a local presence here. It was really through exports from the Netherlands, port of Rotterdam to the port of Tema, and distributing the goods into the country through a distributor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you actually set up in Ghana?
2019 we really started constructing here, so that's 15 years later almost, let's say. But from 2016 2017 onwards we started working on a market research. Once we said okay, this is where we want to go, we had at that moment we had looked into Nigeria, Ivory Coast and Ghana. Ghana was the best amongst the three at that moment, around 2017. Then we decided to buy land, or set up the entity first, of course, to buy land, hire the first employees, and start the journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to go from exporting containers to fully setting up is quite a change. So,
very much.
What made the company so confident to say we're ready to fully be active in Ghana?
I think that's a few factors what makes make the company to do this. One of the things is that we are a very customer-oriented company, and we do a lot of consultative sales. That means that we need to be at the customer's doorstep, let's say, to sell our products.
Okay.
And you can't do that when you're far away. That's one thing. And another thing is definitely we are a family-owned company. We're very much long-term oriented, I would say so. So it's a nice model, exporting to set up a business or to start a business somewhere in a country. But we believe that on the long run, it's a more sustainable way to be really locally present in the market.
Right. Okay. What was your market size like when you started back in 2005 and currently?
2005, I don't know. I started with the Heus 2009.
Okay.
So then actually we were selling concentrates. So those had to be mixed with local raw materials here in Ghana.
Okay.
The real market size, very difficult to say. We were a known player, but not as significant in impact as we are now. Because currently we can say that we believe to have around 30-40% market share here in Ghana with our products.
Quite decent. Yeah. So there are definitely Dutch companies that think about coming to Ghana. They find it scary or they're not sure. How did your company go through that process?
Actually, that was very nice. I had I would say the pleasure to just go for it. we wrote a business plan, and we're quite entrepreneurial in our company. So we said, okay, go out, see if you find land, and take it step by step. So of course you need to have your plans ready. You need to know what you want to do, more or less where you want to do it as well. But you cannot actually plan all the steps you're going to make, or all the things you're going to encounter, because it's really a completely different business environment than we are used to in the Netherlands. So one of the things is to have very good advisors, a good lawyer, if you have to buy land, a company like the GMB, or an organization like the GMBCC. So you have enough advisory people, also enough local people who can help you to make it a success.
Right. Is Koudijs looking to leave Ghana anytime soon?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay. Nice.
No, we've invested seriously here in the country, and are still investing actually.
Awesome. Can you tell us a bit about the team? How big is it?
Sure. Currently we have about 100 people, I would say, on the payroll, and 50 casual labor. So the total here is 150 people, more or less. We work in 3 shifts, 6 days a week as we speak. And besides that, we have a network of dealers, of about 150 dealers all over Ghana that sell our products.
Wow.
So the total is directly is 300 already. Yeah.
So how do you manage so many people? First of all, you came from the Netherlands, which means it's a completely different culture. How do you deal with that?
Firstly, you need to be ready to make mistakes. Because if you are not ready to make mistakes, then forget about it, because you're going to make a lot of mistakes. But I think it is, and that's not always easy, but it comes with accepting that you're in a different country, in a different culture, and understudy the culture, I would say, and see how the things are working in a country. So what are the things we can take from this culture, from Ghana? Are there things which might be a challenge, which we can turn into an opportunity, which might be completely different than we do in the Netherlands? And there are actually many things that we can turn into an opportunity, because the landscape is still not designed the same way, of course, as it is in the Netherlands.
Yeah. And how do you create a strong culture among the people?
Look, in the beginning, I was the only Dutch person here in the company. Currently, we have 2 Dutch people and 1 Iranian as well. The rest are only Ghanaian people. It was quite difficult because I was the only one who had to bring in the Dutch culture and the Heus culture. And whether we like it or not, all our systems are finally based on the Dutch culture. The way the processes work, etc. It's quite Dutch oriented. That took time. I think time is a big factor here. Employing the right people who are willing to look into new ways of working. I think flexibility and openness is very important. And training, a lot of training. So what we do actually in different departments is every quarter, sometimes even more, sometimes less, we have people from our global offices coming in, or we do online trainings to constantly make sure that we stay up to date.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So for a Dutch company coming or looking to come, what would you say top 3 things they should really invest in or look at?
First thing is people. Invest in people. Invest in the right people, but invest in your own people. First, recruitment is very important in that sense, of course, and know what you want and especially what you don't want. And once you have the people, really invest in them. Make sure they really understand your vision, your strategy, the way your company is working. I think that is really the first and most important thing. The other thing is understand the culture as soon as possible, because don't underestimate the cultural aspect of how things are working in a different country, which means you need to have good advisors around you. You need to have good people in your network who know how certain things work and who can organize it for you, I would say so.
Right.
Yeah, and then you're asking for 3 things. Be ready for the unpredictable things, I would say.
Yeah.
Expect the unexpected.
Okay. In terms of investments coming in, did you have to make any heavy investments? Were there any thresholds you needed?
Yeah, so actually by the time that we started investing in Ghana, we had to bring in $1 million through the GIPC, which was by then a must to bring in. It sounds like a lot of money. On the other hand, we have really invested in assets here, in real hardware. So the 1 million then is not too much. It also wasn't a hurdle at that moment for us because we had to invest in it. We finally, because we are locally present and we really work with machines, etc. We have done a significant investment here, and not only here, also even with a joint venture partner.
Okay, and I mean you're in the Tema free zones, but I think you're explaining you're not a free zone company. Okay.
So the free zone it makes that you have to export at least 70% of your products, and we have said no. We are really here for the local farmers. So we produce locally and we sell locally. We try to buy as many as possible raw materials locally as well. Those that are available we try to buy here. So that made that we only came to the free zones actually I would say from geographical point of view is one of the reasons. The location is good in terms of the port. The port is close by. It's easier to recruit people around Tema or Greater Accra, of course, and one of the reasons was the power stability as well. Okay. There is basically hardly any issues here with power, which is really helping.
Yeah. So what does your production process look like here?
Well, in a nutshell, we buy raw materials, we test the quality, sometimes before we buy it already, or sometimes when it arrives here, but we test the quality of the raw materials. We already have predefined recipes, formulas, which come from our global office for animal feed. So every animal and every stage of the animal's life has a different formula for feed. And we have a control room. In the control room, they basically only need to enter the formula, and the factory will almost automatically mill all the raw materials into small pieces, mix it together, and depending on the type of feed, it will make a pellet or even a floating, like a type of popcorn. It's a tilapia feed. Okay. And then we bag it. That's really in a nutshell.
Right. Okay. And just to go back, so you mentioned that there were different countries you looked at within Africa. Yep. Ghana was one of them, Nigeria. Yep. Why did you still decide on Ghana? So you did market research in all the countries? Yes. And you used like an external to do the market research, or?
We had a lot of market intelligence already because we were exporting from the Netherlands to Nigeria, Ivory Coast and Ghana, the three of them already. And so we used a little bit of external, I would say companies, or one external company. But it didn't actually give us more information than we already had because we are quite in a specific sector, of course. So with our own figures, our own data, and the potential of the country, so you have your population, you have the consumption on meat, on eggs, those are very important indicators for us, of course. We decided that, not to forget the political stability. So all those things together, we decided that for now we want to invest in Ghana. Actually, 2 years later, we decided to invest in Ivory Coast as well. So,
Okay.
But by then it was really Ghana.
Yeah. Interesting. Now we're here as part of the, Diaspora Desk, speaking to people in the diaspora as well. Now you mentioned that out of all the employees, 2 are Dutch, the rest are all Ghanaians. But how important do you think the diaspora is to the Ghanaian economy?
I just shared with you that yesterday we had an applicant, or let's say a job interview, someone who would come for a job interview, and the person didn't show up. And that can happen because it happens more often. But what you see is that we are really looking, and not everywhere in the company, but at certain important positions in the company, we are looking for people who understand both sides of the cultures, I would say. So who understand the Ghanaian culture and the Dutch culture, because finally we are a Dutch-rooted company, so we would like people to really understand both sides. Now, many of our management and the critical mass inside the company currently, they understand that and understand that better and better, but it's a long process.
Right.
I believe that with a diaspora, you will be able to fast track that process and to immediately or very fast make use of those skills and those capacities of people because they know both sides.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you tried hiring people from the diaspora before?
No, we haven't.
But it's something you're open to.
Very much. Yeah.
Okay. In terms of the people that you have, the employees you have, how were you able to hire them? What were you looking at?
The first people we used a recruiter that was a Dutch-rooted recruiter as well, but there was a local person here in Ghana available.
Okay.
A Dutch lady. She actually did HR work for us as well, and she started recruiting for us. That's the way we also try to, again, build that bridge between Ghana and the Netherlands, because she had been a couple of years in Ghana already, so she knew the market. That's actually what we're constantly looking for. Right. Same with suppliers, same with, mainly suppliers that work with international companies. They understand those relationships better. Right. But to go back to your question, we started with her. Then we had our own HR. We started using, of course, our own network, our own advertisements. We used several recruitment companies as well, recruiters. And actually that is constantly evolving because we also need different people every time when your organization is growing. Right. And some recruiters fit. They are really a fit to the company. They understand the vision, and some simply don't fit. Right. Yeah. So it's a bit of everything, actually, still.
Right. So you talked to me about this, something that you implemented, I think, called Speak Up. Could you share a bit more about that?
Definitely. What we find important actually is that, well, in our company, people are allowed to make mistakes, and everyone makes mistakes because we are human beings. But sometimes we don't see the mistakes, and if we don't see the mistakes, there's the chance that it can really become a big error. It can really have consequences for us as a company. But you also won't learn from it. The company won't learn, the individual won't learn from it. And that is one part of it. And another part is that we would like to have a very transparent, I would say, culture inside our company. That makes that people feel comfortable and safe from a psychological point of view, open to speak up. Now, that is not easy to just get that. I just showed you our book as well, the business principles. We want to work in a certain way. We have our ideas about business principles. So it's several factors where we want people to stand up or to speak up when they think that it can be done different, or it should be done different, or maybe even when it is done very well. And we realized that it is not always easy to channel all that information, and it's not always easy for people to just speak up to their manager or supervisor, because there can be a type of maybe fear or type of distance between the persons. So what we did, it's a global program actually. So our integrity manager came to Ghana, introduced the Speak Up program. And it basically means that we really want to empower and stimulate people to speak up on the things I just mentioned. And one of the things we did is we installed a few mailboxes, basically physical mailboxes inside the company, where people just can drop their paper and write down what they think they want to speak about. That comes to management at a certain moment. There is a person, in the Netherlands we call it a vertrouwenspersoon. So a trust person, let's say, inside the company, who checks that box, who can also liaise with the Netherlands, with the integrity manager, and who will also share the information with management of the company when necessary.
So definitely some values that you've brought on board that is very important for the company to have trust here as well. Are there any values that you've picked up here in Ghana?
Oh, a lot, definitely. think the directness of the Dutch people, with something sometimes really can be in your face, I think you will recognize it,
Yes.
is something that I've really picked up here to really slow down on that, because you start realizing that you can hurt people sometimes with that, which you actually don't want. That is one of the things. One of the things I've also started picking up here is that we tend to think that we can control a lot in the Netherlands. And here you start realizing that the outside world comes with way more challenges. It's I would say less structured than we are used to from the Netherlands. So you have to find your ways, your creative ways to get things done. And actually, it's actually a very nice thing to experience that again. And if you really look at values, I think deeper values. What I really like actually is the way that the community still takes more care of each other here in Ghana. I think also inside our company, we have tried to bring that in. That we have to go the extra mile for our people. To take good care of them.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So as a company, because it sounds like you're doing quite well, there are companies that have left Ghana. There are some that are looking to come.
Yeah.
Can you maybe share what has been like a high for the company, and how were you able to achieve that? Maybe there's some practical things that you do to make the company successful in a way, and what has been a low, maybe a situation where you had to reevaluate, do we want to stay in Ghana? And yeah.
Luckily, we've not had an extreme low that made us reevaluating, I would say, our presence here in Ghana. But let me start with the low. We have had we've had some issues with management at a certain moment, whereby there was a difference in insights on, I would say, conflict of interest. Yeah, so what can you do when you're an employee of our company? What can't you do? And also about sharing information on what you are doing. This made that that at a certain moment you start feeling there's friction inside the company. You can't really place it. No one is really talking about it. Right. I think that was a difficult period for many of us, because you don't really know which direction to navigate. Yeah. And that made us actually also think about the Speak Up program and these kind of things. Yeah. A high actually was last year, I have to say. Last year what we had was a good year in terms of volumes. We're basically almost at full capacity here inside our feed mill after 4 years, which is more than we were expecting. And why is that? Because we really invested time and resources in our network. Not only our own premises here between these fence walls, but we heavily invested in, actually upstream, which is in raw materials, locally sourcing, but also growing raw materials. That made that we had a lot of raw materials available last year, whereby some competitors didn't have that. And that also has shown us that you need to start designing the landscape yourself sometimes, and the infrastructure around it as well, to make it happen.
Okay, so how are you incorporating sustainable practices into your animal feed production?
Sustainable practices into the animal feed production. First of all, I think the most important thing we've done here in Ghana is we have started in a project with a partner. It's called WARC. And we have built a network of thousands of farmers here in Ghana. So buying raw materials locally, we believe that's the most sustainable way. So if the products are available locally, the raw materials, buy them locally instead of importing them. When we decided to go to Ghana in 2019, we said within 5 years we want to be able to buy a minimum of 50% of the raw materials locally. And last year we've been able to achieve that. So that is one of the main sustainability things we have worked on. And besides that, of course, we are finally part of a European company, so we have to follow the whole European guideline on sustainability anyway. Things we are currently looking into is, for example, green gas for our production process, which is gas which then comes from company Safisana, them most probably. We are looking into it. We don't know whether it will work. Right. But these kind of initiatives, we actually like it.
Okay. What do you think are some risks and rewards in the sector when it comes to animal feed or animal husbandry?
What we believe the risks are that it's still a bit fragmented and maybe not. Let's say the institutional landscape is not designed enough to facilitate all the farmers and the whole sector in a way that we can really say, okay, but this is really sustainable what we're doing. And I don't mean sustainable from a green point of view, but I really mean like, will my farm still exist in 5 years' time? Currently, we see raw material prices are extremely high in Ghana, which is affecting the price of chicken, fish, and eggs, of course. And because of this, there is a risk that finally you don't make a lot of profits in the business. And besides that, we believe there should be done more about education. That is also part of that risk. So if you don't know the right management practices, it comes down to the same. There's a chance that your farm won't exist in a couple of years of time. If you look at the rewards, I think this is the good thing. When you are always at the top 25 farms, and for us the same, when we are always at the top of the market with our products, we believe that first of all you create a lot of impact, you create a lot of market as well, and your profitability will come. But don't think that your profitability will come in the first 3-4 years directly. You have to be here for the long run.
Okay. Koudijs, in the next few years, what's the plan?
Next few years, another factory in Ghana, a second one, actually. That's really what we are hoping for. We already have a joint venture, which is really strengthening what we are doing inside the market. So we are selling feed, and that investment is selling the day-old chicks, so the chicks for farmers. Which is, I think, has made our presence in the market way more impactful and also relevant.
Right.
I think mainly the second factory is the main thing.
Okay, that's good.
In the coming 5 years.
Yeah. What would you say to a Dutch company that's looking and thinking, okay, if Koudijs has been able to do it, maybe we can? And what would you say to a diasporan that's watching, that is, thinking about, you made the move, not just by yourself, you moved with your entire family.
I did, yes, yes.
Your wife agreed to making the move, or was it
I cannot say no, is it? Yeah. No, she agreed. That was an interesting process, yeah. But definitely she agreed, and we have never regretted, because actually for us it's really good. The kids, they love it. It's a beautiful place to be. I think life is a bit more relaxed. There's a lot of pressure on you when you are in business. I have to be honest about it. Because of the outside world, which is not always functioning the way you want. But in terms of living here and just enjoying the nice weather, I would say so, and having nice people around you, yes. For the companies that want to go here, be well prepared. Understand that, as I said, expect the unexpected. Yeah. You have to deal with the currency which is fluctuating. You have to deal with implementing something completely new of which you don't really know how it will go. So build the right network, have the right people around you. I think that's the most important thing to start with. And don't take things for granted. We all know how difficult it can be sometimes to buy land, for example, in Ghana. But don't think it's impossible. It is possible. Many people have done it. We have done it. So it's possible.
So practically, because someone's looking at you saying, yes, okay, but how? How do they go about it?
I can only say the first desk is to go to GNVCC, of course, the embassy. But if you really want to have practical information, I think you should get into the network of people who have done it before to really get your information on, okay, where do I need to go? So you have to start working with lawyers, for example, or advisors that have been in these processes before. Find the right local people who can guide you. If it's about land ownership, if it that's the real practical side of it.
Final question, when it comes to regulation,
Yes.
have you had any hurdles when it comes to certain institutions? Indian regulations compared to Dutch regulations?
I can say yes, of course you have had hurdles, but it has to do with the fact that sometimes we don't know how exactly you have to do it. And then you just start a process and you can become frustrated because you thought it would go this direction and it turns out that you had to go this direction. So those are the main hurdles. You have to know how to deal with the regulations, how to deal with the regulator, how to get your things right, how to communicate to them. I think that is important. You have to know, but real big hurdles we cannot say. No.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing with us the process that Koudijs went through, that you've gone through. Really happy to hear that you're doing well. You're looking to stay in Ghana, and we hope that many other companies will also be inspired to come.
We hope as well.
Yes, all the best. And thank you once again for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, you like, you comment. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have any questions you would want us to address, feel free to let us know. Thank you, and until the next time.